everybody, welcome to Stamping with Melva. I'm Melva Peters and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in British Columbia, Canada. And you can find me online at stampingwithmelva.com. It's Sunday. I'm a little bit late today because we had a team party. Now my team is mostly in British Columbia, but I also have team members in Alberta and Ontario. So we meet monthly for team meetings, but we also have team parties, 2 or 3, maybe 4 times a year, just so we can get together and visit. We don't get a chance to do that. So it was so much fun. We did a make and take. I'll share it with you on an upcoming video. It's a great project using note cards and to make a note card holder using designer series paper. And you know, who doesn't have designer series paper that they don't that they have in abundance? If you're like me, I'm going to put up my hand for that one. So we did a make and take. We played a game, we had some prizes, and we just really had a nice time visiting. So I'm a little bit late, but I wanted to jump on and make a card. Now I'm going to use the Fun on Wheels bundle. I haven't used this before, so it's brand new. And here's what happens for me. I get these bundles. I don't use them as quickly as I think I'm going to. I don't know why. And then I can't stop playing with them. So you're likely to see the bundle off and on over the next little while. All right, so let's get started. I'm going to combine it with another. So this is the Fun on Wheels bundle. Great. If you've got somebody who's a biker in your family, skateboarder, scooter, it's just such a fun one. Now, my husband and I have electric bikes because where we live is very, very hilly. So this kind of looks like our bike. My husband has a basket in it because we used to take our dog in the basket. She used to love to do that. Then, of course, there are the dies to cut out these shapes as well as the wheels that fit on here. And I've got a die out already that cuts the frame for this bike. I'm going to do that. Okay, so that's the Fun on Wheels bundle. And I'm going to combine it with, have you seen these? These are so amazing. Nested Essential Dies. So you get, let's see, there's 12, 4 in each of the different shapes. I'm going to use the largest of this kind of rectangle, rounded rectangle one. So these are a great addition to your die collection if you haven't seen them. Just really useful. They're actually double stitched, which is cool. Some of them, actually, it's just these tags that have a double stitching on them. Really fun. Okay, so let's kind of get started here. These dies out too. All right, so I've got a piece of thick basic white. I don't know why I don't use basic white for a card base, but it isn't one that comes to mind a lot. But today I am using, so this is definitely a feminine card, even though it's got bikes on it. This is thick basic white, 5.5 by 8.5 and scored at 4 1/4. So you can use the regular basic white or very vanilla cardstock, but I just find the thick one, we have thick in both, just is so much nicer for making a card base. It's kind of the equivalent weight of our cardstock. Okay, so then I cut a piece of fresh freesia that is 4 inches by 5 1/4, and I've already gone ahead and embossed it. My lights don't seem to be very, oopsie, moving things. Maybe that's a little better. Seems a little dark to me, but maybe it's not. So this is the exposed brick embossing folder. Just thought that was kind of appropriate for a scene where there's a bike on it. So fresh freesia, just such a pretty color. So we're going to adhere that on. Okay, now here's this is the largest of that rectangular, circle, rounded rectangular die. So I'm going to cut that out, but I'm going to stamp on it first. I'm going to stamp this bike. So I haven't even taken these off of the rubber yet. So this is a rubber stamp, and these actually are larger. So these are 95%. So the stamps are actually just slightly larger, and that will fit than what they appear. So we're going to stamp this in Tuxedo Black Memento. Just want to make sure I'm inked it up. Okay, like that. Get it in the middle. Isn't that cool? Just a great image. Put that on there. Okay, so we're going to cut that out of there. Now, this is the shimmer specialty paper. So it comes in gold, fresh freesia, and it's a greeny color. I don't know if it's a pool party or what it is. So I'm going to cut this bike frame that will go on out of gold. Who wouldn't love a shiny gold bike? I'm going to stick that down and that. Okay, let's bring in, I think I can fit these through my mini if I can find, oh no, there it is. Got everything I need. All right. So we'll put that on like that. And I think if I put that right there, I'll put that on. And run this through. Get it started. Once it gets started, it's there we go. Now I'm just going to run this frame back through just to make sure it cuts. Also helps to get all the little bits. If there's little bits from the dies, it helps to, you can see they just kind of come off really easily. So that's cut out lovely, beautiful. Okay. That's cut out with that die. Okay, so let's get our dies back to where they belong. Where did that? There we go. I'm so bad at losing dies. Okay, so this is going to go, I don't know what that is. I have to put something, a little bit of adhesive or something. Okay, so let's take this. Now, if I had been really clever, I say this every time, I would have used adhesive sheet on the back of this before I cut it out. But look at that. Isn't that great? It's going to be, oh, you guys can't really see that. Can you see the gold? That's cool. So cool. So it fits right on top of that stamped image. We're going to leave the wheels black. And then I'm going to use my grid or my silicone mat. And I'm going to try very carefully after I poke out the bits from the gears. There we go. All right, so I'm going to try very hard just to use just a little bit of glue so I don't get it all over the place. And you don't have to cover the whole thing with glue. I'm just trying to, and I'm kind of spreading it as I go, trying not to press too hard, but just to get enough glue that I don't get it all over the place. And if you want to, grab your tweezers from the embossing adhesives or embossing additions kit. So we're going to try and adhere that over top of, and it's okay if you see some black because it's a bit of a shadow. There we go. There's my gold bike. I didn't have a gold bike as a kid. I think I had a green bike. I think my very first 10-speed was green. Okay, so it's going to kind of be a plainish card. I cut out a piece. Yes, I actually cut out a piece of basic white cardstock that I'm going to use for the sentiment. You guys, I always fussy cut my sentiments, but I cut this out. So this is 5/8 of an inch by 2 3/4. And I'm going to stamp this. I hope, let's see if I can get this. Oh, it's pretty straight. Let's try that again. I always test it and see. So I need to bring it just down slightly. Oh, not too bad. I always test it out to see if I have to kind of, was green too? Yeah, maybe. Oh, it's funny. My brother and I got 10 speeds on the same day. We were downtown Victoria, and I don't know, they had them on sale, and we came home with 10 speeds. That's kind of fun. Much happier riding my e-bike now because of the hills where I live. Gosh, it's very hilly. Okay, so I cut a piece of the gold shimmer. It is, I think I did this one 3/4. Yeah, so 5/8 for the basic white, and then 5/8 by 2 3/4, and then 3/4 by 3. At least that's what I intended to. So I'm going to use dimensionals. Still using up the remnants on this piece. A long piece. So when you have a long piece of label or whatever you're adhering down, stagger it so it doesn't sag in the middle and wobble. So I'm going to put this on first. So we're going to just put it down here in the corner. It was pretty. This I have to say, this fresh freesia and gold are very pretty. Okay, I'm going to do something like that, probably put it at an angle. Now, I grabbed, because I don't have any fresh freesia ribbon anymore, but I have Moody Mauve, and I thought it would go. But I don't want, I find this jute, this is the in color jute, and I do find it a bit hard to work with because it is very thick. So I like to kind of deconstruct it. So if you take, I've already started on this end. If you take your pick tool with the piercing end and just kind of gently insert it. There are 3 strands to this in color jute. So if you just kind of separate those strands, and if you're careful, because it's plied and twisted, you can actually get it so that it untwists easily, she says. Let's try this one. So, but it does, don't, if you don't actually get the actual strand that is, you know, the strands, you will find it not that easy to pull it apart. So if you don't get your piercing end in and you split one of these strands, it won't come apart as easily as it is for me. So just kind of gently pull it apart, and you get this kind of, you know, crinkled ribbon, kind of like if you had braids in your hair. It's not ribbon, it's jute. Braids in your hair, and you left it overnight. So I thought what I would do is kind of use this as I typically do, where I wrap the ribbon around my hand, pinch it together, and I think then I might have to kind of spring it a little, elongate it a little bit. So I'm going to take a little bit of Stampin' Seal, because that's going to be hidden. Kind of elongate this, flatten it, adhere it in the middle. If you don't want these ends to show, you can kind of tuck them underneath. I'm going to just leave them for the moment. And then I think I used the last of that. Oh, here's some more. Using the remnants of my dimensionals. So let's get some dimensionals on the back of this. I like it because it makes it thinner, doesn't make your card quite so thick. Right, I was going to put that at an angle, but I think based on the way my twine's going, we're just going to take it and just kind of, let's put some twine there. There we go. And then if you want to, I've got some these ends, so I'm just going to take and put a glue dot. If I can find, there's a glue dot. A glue dot on this end, just kind of poke it, and then poke it underneath with my take your pick tool, and that will keep it from popping out again. And here's a couple. I can do these, I think, together. I love glue dots. I know not everybody uses them, but I love using glue dots. Doesn't feel very sticky. That's what I was. Okay, there we go. All right. So there's a little bit of twine underneath. Now I thought these are the neutrals sequence, And I thought having some gold sequence would be nice, since we kind of have a gold theme going on here. And maybe we'll put that over that little, whatever that is, a little bit of adhesive. Now, I do need to stamp something on the inside of the card. And there is this really fun kind of map. It is extremely fulfilling, Pam, isn't it? Oh, no, that was Peg. Sorry. Yes, it is so fulfilling to actually use that. Now, it's funny because this morning, my husband and I share our toothpaste, and we were to the end, and there's something very fulfilling about using that last little bit of toothpaste from the tube too. All right, so I'm just going to take this map and just stamp it on the inside of the card. Now this stamp would be a great random stamp all over the card as a background if you wanted to, rather than an embossing folder, for example. But using that map on the background as a bit of a decoration would be very cool. This isn't looking like it's very straight to me. There we go. Okay, there. So there is my very first card featuring the Fun on Wheels bundle. I'll hold it up so you can actually see the gold. Isn't that fun? It would be fun to use the other colors, like even the fresh freesia, if you had wanted to make a bike out of fresh freesia. There are other dies that cut out the wheels and things, but yeah, I'm like that, Pam, too. My husband kind of laughed at me as I was doing that this morning because he'd already had a brand new tube out. But I managed to get the last bit out. All right, so there's the card. So if you haven't had a look at this bundle, and you have somebody who loves to ride bikes or scooters or skateboards, this one might be the one for you. Yeah, enjoy the journey. If you have some of that would be perfect for this too, Nancy. Yeah, I love fresh freesia. I think I did a happy dance and a little squeal when I saw that fresh freesia wasn't retiring, because it is so pretty. Yeah, I'm so glad that they didn't retire it. All right, everybody, thanks for joining me today. Now so tomorrow night I have my class on Zoom if you want to join. I post the Zoom link through the day tomorrow. It's 7 o'clock Pacific. I know that's late for some of you. We make a card together, but then I'll be back Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 2 o'clock Pacific with a sketch challenge, technique, and a mystery challenge through the week. So hopefully you will join me at least for one of those days. All right, everybody. Thanks so much. Hope you have a great day. Happy stamping. Bye.